game design. Game design? What does that even mean? And what exactly does a game designer actually do? Is it the same as game development? Welcome once again to the Nameless Ghibli project. I'm Mambo Master Kong, and today I'll try to answer these questions and more as we dive into the fascinating world of game design. Whenever I tell people that I'm a designer, I usually get an answer along the lines of, "Wow, you must be really good at drawing." Yeah, right. This took me about 2 hours, so no, not really. That's because game design is not the same as art. It's also not the same thing as storytelling. Actually, here's a comprehensive list of all the things that game design is not. Art, storytelling, drawing, game testing, programming, animation, sound effects.
7 hours later.
Administration, project management, writing a script, acting. Well, you get the idea. So, if those are all the things that game design is not, then what the hell is actually game design? Simply put, game design refers to the design of rules, mechanics, and systems that make up the entire experience that the player will have. Basically, designers are in charge of the game part of the game, instead of story, art, animation, programming, and so on. Let's take a look at this example. So here we've got Snake. He's a game designer of our fictional game studio. Come on, dude, don't be rude. Say hello.
Give me a break.
Nah, good enough. Along with Snake, we've got Amaterasu in the art department, Wheatley as a programmer, and Lara as the sound designer. And they're all working together on their next game, Pong. Yeah, I know. Just go along with it, will ya? Okay, we know that Wheatley writes the code, Amaterasu makes the beautiful sprites, and Lara makes the sound effects. All of those things are obviously essential to the game, but none of them is the game.
This is no game.
So even if everyone does a perfect job, they still won't have a game. That's where Snake comes in. He's the one who determines that in this game each player controls a palette and that the goal is to shoot a ball behind the palette of the other player. Now, he talks about his design to the team, and sure enough, they get to work and make the thing happen. Nice one, guys! After testing a while, Snake still feels that it can be better. He decides to put walls on the upper and lower edges of the screen and make the ball bounce around. So he talks to the team again and they implement the design. This is how they keep working until they get the amazing game that Pong is.
Great.
Despite what some people might think, there's actually no such thing as one methodology that is used in design. There are hundreds of them, and thousands of design tools which are used for many more things than just game design. You have design thinking, agile, lean startup, Kanban, waterfall, and many more which are used for product design, industrial design, software development, project management, and, you guessed it, game design, among many others. But is there something truly useful behind these methodologies? Or are they just some demagogic crap that's made up by some pretentious people in a room full of whiteboards and lots of sticky notes? Well, that depends on who you're asking. But in my opinion, even though there are definitely some scammers around, design tools and design methodologies can be incredibly powerful, if used correctly. The majority of these methodologies share lots of similarities, and broadly speaking, the following steps encompass the essence of many, if not most of them. 1. Understand the field which you're working and your end user. This means doing lots of research, taking a look at what others have done before you, aka references, observing and interacting with the potential user of the object that you're designing, and so on. For example, if you're making a 3D platformer, you might want to see what others have made before you, and what makes them tick, how players engage with them, and that kind of stuff. Number 2. Define as specifically as possible the problem and the challenge that you're working on. With words. And write them down. You have to do that. This one is super important, so really take your time with it instead of directly jumping to a solution. many people fall in love with their solutions. Instead, they should fall in love with their problems. That being said, you should still be open to changing your definitions as your understanding grows. Number 3. Solutions. Now you should come up with solutions for the problem that you defined. In the beginning, you shouldn't be too picky about your ideas, because by themselves, ideas are 1000% useless and have absolutely zero value. Nothing. Instead, you can do some brainstorming with your team and prioritize quantity over quality before picking the ones that seem the most reasonable. Number 4. Build a prototype around the ideas you picked and do it quickly, especially during the early stages of development. It shouldn't take you more than a couple of hours tops to have your first prototype up and running. It's also perfectly fine if your first prototypes are clanky, look crappy, or have some bugs, as long as they do what they're supposed to do. Don't aim for something polished yet. It's virtually impossible to successfully come up with a new mechanic or concept and implement it correctly on the first try. Instead, you're going to fail. Embrace that failure in order to learn from it, and also do fail as fast and cheap as possible. I'll say that again. Fail fast, fail cheap, and then fail some more again. Number 5. Testing. Yes, test out your prototype. Prototypes are meaningless if you don't do anything with them. You have to give them to someone as soon as possible, ideally the potential user, and have that someone interact with your prototype. Now, you carefully watch that person interact with your prototype and gather information. And remember, do not show them how the prototype is supposed to work or how to interact with it. If, for example, the test players don't play your game according to your intended vision, then it's not their fault. It's you, the designer, who's doing something wrong, not the other way around. Number 6. Iteration. With your newly gathered intel, go back to studying and understanding your field and user, then redefine your problem if needed, come up with new ideas, make a new prototype, and test it out again. And although I just numbered these steps, you don't really have to take them in that order. You can go back to redefine your problem whenever you feel that it needs a revision, or create a new prototype directly after testing the one that came before. The important thing is to remember the objective of each step and to know what you're trying to achieve with it. If you want to learn more about the fascinating subject that is design, I encourage you to check some material online. I'll leave links to articles and videos in the description which might be helpful. And while you're down there, you might also want to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share this video, and do all those nice things that the YouTube algorithm loves. Well, I actually love them too. Until now, this episode has been a lot of theoretical chit-chat, so let's head over to Unity and take a look what we've got. Spoiler alert, it's not a lot. For now, I've imported this third-person character, which is a Unity starter asset, and it will serve as a placeholder. Usually, you can also just use a cube or something like that, but it's so easy to implement that it just makes sense. I also set up the camera system using Cinemachine. Apart from that, I also started prototyping the main character's first movement ability, which is gonna be something similar to Zelda's gliding mechanic. To test it out, I quickly made a set of stairs and some platforms, and wrote a teeny tiny little bit of code, which would allow me to change the player's falling speed when I press the gliding button. And here we go, this is what I've got. Yeah, I know, it's kinda underwhelming, because there's lots of stuff missing, like proper animation, particle effects, sound effects, and so on. But that's alright, as we talked before, it's very hard to nail this on the first try, so I'm making sure that I fail soon before I invest a lot of time and resources. And that's all the progress I've made since I last saw you. I hope I have more to show off in the next episode. And that's it for today, people. I really hope you enjoyed this video, even though it's a big deviation from my usual content. If you didn't, then don't worry, because the regular episodes of the Nameless Ghibli project will be back soon. But if you did like it, then let me know down in the comments. I made this video because basically, this is the fundamental essence of game design, and for some reason, it's not something you see in many devlogs, so I thought it might be important. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.